Good morning, children. Last class we have discussed that on the basis of nature of work, the sectors is divided into three categories, that is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. And the people, those who are working under the primary sectors, they are extracting the raw materials and producing the goods. The goods are processed in the manufacturing sector, that is secondary sector. And the tertiary sector provides the services to all three of the sectors. So in such a way, they are also interdependent with each other. One sector will affect if one sector production will affect simultaneously, other two sectors will affect. So today, after the production, how do you will count the production of the three sectors? The question arises. How we will count? What we will count? So here coming in the questions, what should we will count? Suppose a farmer producing 10,000 kg of wheat. 10,000 kg is the quantity of the production. And when he is going to sell per kg 8 rupees, that is the price of the production. So here two things are coming. One is the quantity, another is the value. Value means price. So while we will go for the counting of the production of any sector, what we will count? The quantity we will count or the price we will count? If we will take the quantity, we will get or we will face the problems. For this reason, always while the coming of the counting of the production in the three sector, we have to take the value, not the quantity. So what are those difficulties one may face while counting the production from the three sectors? No doubt, the production of the three sectors are too many goods and services produced. So counting them would be a difficult task. Definitely it very difficult task, because the laws of quantity are producing in the primary and secondary sector. As well as side by side, who is providing the services? The people, those who are associated with the tertiary sector. So it is very mammoth job, it is very difficult job, and this is a great problem to counting. And second is sometimes intermediate goods are also counted. It is called double counting. Sometimes it happens. The intermediate goods are also counted. The price of the intermediate goods and the price of the final goods, it may count twice. So it will not give the clear picture of the production of the sectors, because all the intermediate goods are included in the final goods. The price of the all intermediate goods are included in the final products. So definitely while taking the calculation of the product, we have to keep in our mind, we have to take the value of final goods, not the intermediate goods. We should take the value of final goods. So why we will count this? Because by counting the production from the goods of two sectors and services from the tertiary sector, it is giving the GDP of the country. GDP, what is GDP? GDP is the gross domestic product. How we are getting the GDP? To get the GDP, we have to take separately counting of the production from primary, then secondary, then tertiary. Then we have to add all the productions in a particular year, that is financial year. That it will give the gross domestic product of the country. When we will get the gross domestic product of the country, it is giving a clear picture of the economic growth of the country. So it is a mirror of how much the country is developing economically. So GDP is most important factor to give the picture of the country's development, financial development. So how to calculate? The example value, we have to take the value. The price into quantity. How much it is production? If that 10,000 kg production of wheat is there, then 10,000 kg of wheat into rupees 8, that is will come 80,000. This 80,000 will taken into account while counting from the primary sector's goods. Steps involved in the estimation of GDP. Already I have discussed how to calculate the GDP. First of all, we will collect the production of the different sectors. Then we will add up the sum total of the production from the primary, secondary and tertiary sector is called GDP, gross domestic product. Who is doing this mammoth job? Who is there to do this estimation of GDP in the mammoth job? The central government ministry with the help of the governments of state and union territories. Means separately the states will calculate and they will make the data, statistical data, and they will hand over to the central ministry, government ministry. Then they will add up all, they will sum up all, then they will give the picture of GDP, gross domestic product. Then children, we will go for the historical change in sector. How historically the shifting takes place from one sector to another sector. In the initial stage, the maximum importance is there in the primary sector. Maximum people are employed in the primary sector and GDP is from primary sector is more. While the agricultural sector changes the method of cultivation, they adopted the new method of cultivation, the people are shifted to one sector to another sector because they depend upon the secondary sector for the inputs. The secondary sectors is going to supply the HYB seeds, raw materials, HYB seeds, pesticide, insecticide, chemical fertilizers, tractor, machine and tools. All these are produced in the secondary sector. So in such a way, after the 100 years, the secondary importance of secondary sector emerged. And when emerged and the secondary sector prospered, when they adopted the new technology, the human employment shifted from primary to secondary sector. And after the prosper of secondary sector, the demand for tertiary sector increased in the last 100 years. In the past 100 years. At the stage over the long period of time, you can see that tertiary sectors in the developed countries. Further, in the past 100 years, there is been a more importance given into the tertiary sectors. And this is the scene of the developed countries, the shifting. Initial stage primary, then it is shifted due to the manufacturing, changes of manufacturing, changes of method of cultivation, secondary sector emerge, then prosper in the secondary sector, it given birth to the tertiary service sectors. So in such a way that sector shifted to initially primary, then secondary, then tertiary sector. Now it is a more important sector is the, in case of a GDP and employment, is tertiary sector. Maximum people, skilled people are engaged in the tertiary sector. Now children, for today's class this much. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation in the class. Next class, I will come with the other subtopic.